My name's Tim. I'm professionally known as Tim Kilgore, hence the YouTube ID. I'm a pro wrestler on the New England indie circuit. Feel free to ask any New England indie wrestlers about me. At the very least, they've heard of me. So, what's a professional wrestler from New England doing on YouTube with questions for Jehovah's Witnesses? I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I left just about 6 years ago. Let me explain why. It wasn't for the sake of fornicating with anyone. I didn't even have a girlfriend at the time. It wasn't for this lovely piece of plumage you see right here. It wasn't so that I could swear or miss meetings, not go out in service, or anything like that. It's that I had questions that couldn't be answered. I might know what you're saying now. Well, why didn't you ask the elders in your congregation instead of going on YouTube with your questions? Thing is, I did. 6 years ago, I went to my mother, who told me that it was dangerous to show such independent thinking or apostate leanings, which discouraged me from asking the elders. Eventually, I did anyway, and I actually got scolded for having the audacity to even ask the question in the first place. In the end, my questions, they never got answered, and I placated myself to saying I had to have faith, not to question. The problem was, I was going door to door at the time. I was asking people to logically take an open and honest look at their religion. If someone answered that they had faith, I would try to show them from the scriptures or otherwise that their faith was misplaced. It seemed really hard to me to go around door to door asking tough questions and not accept faith as the answer when I asked myself tough questions and I had to use faith as the answer. It seemed to me I was no different than they were. My true answers were no different than their false ones. In the end, it all boiled down to faith. So 6 years later, here I sit. I'd be more than happy to just forget about my time as a witness and chalk it up to childhood. However, now I have a 4.5-month-old beautiful baby girl named Madeline. She's got bright blue eyes. My mother's still a witness, and she wants to take my daughter to meetings. I don't want the same thing to happen to her that happened to me. If she asks a question, I want it to be answered. I don't want her to be guilted into suppressing her questions. So hence the reason for tough questions for Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm hoping this will be some place where the questions can be rationally and respectfully answered. If your response is going to include calling me an apostate, telling me to get a life, and not ask questions about Jehovah's Witnesses, questioning my motives, or any other ad hominem attack, please don't respond. My goal is not to discredit the Jehovah's Witness religion. It's not to try and make you look stupid. I could care less if you remain a witness or not. I'm simply looking for answers to my questions. I'm going to continue to try my best to keep the responses as rational and respectful as my videos will be. Hopefully this will help myself get some of the answers I was looking for all those years ago. Maybe even some active witnesses have the same questions and would like to see an answer to them as well. Now, you're going to have to forgive me here because thanks to the 9 concussions I've received as a result of being a pro wrestler, I'm not that good at remembering my lines. And for these questions, I want them to be as specific as possible, and I want the wording to be perfect on them. So I've actually written out all the questions, and I'm reading them directly off the computer. I'll try to keep it as entertaining as possible reading from a computer, but once again, you really have to forgive me. I have a horrible memory. In closing, I hope this can be a great place for the open discourse of a seemingly closed religion. Maybe in the end we'll all understand each other a lot better. It could even strengthen someone's convictions now that the answer is easily obtainable. I want to thank you for your time, and this is Tim signing off.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You've seen that seeing is believing.